I'm off a daily fantasy. His number too high, then I'm probably fading him. He been on the road, he gon' eat up my salary. I hit up out, he gon' lie before lock. Play back to back, then I probably won't pick on the Dfs Bachelor, good as it gets. Build a few liners and hit me a leg. He had a good game, but it might be a trick. Log in the Slack so I know who to pick. Sharing our liners, we all gon' get rich. New to this game, you should come to the pad. You might want some cash and get a good laugh. DFS Sports, we gon' run up a bag. He heard every game and it's making me mad. You buying your lineups, I think you a cheater. Dfs Bachelor, he the new leader. Yeah.
What is up, everyone? Welcome into the Bachelor Pad. I, of course, am your host of DFS Bachelor. And look, it's Thursday Night Football. We're talking Fanduel Draftkings. So what better way to talk about this game than to bring in our Falcons insider and my wonderful co-host over from Sportsbook Review, Kelsey Kramer. And I forget that she could see me during the intro when no one else can see me. So I'm just sitting here making my dumb faces and, drinking my Jameson. And here she is laughing at me. That's probably the best intro we've ever had on the show. How are you doing? And thank you so much for being a part of the show today.
Kyle, I'm honored. I'm doing great. Falcons play tomorrow.
I'm excited. I'm excited about it. And we get all this insider Falcons information. And for those of you who don't know, you can join Kelsey and I every Thursday. I think I wrote Tuesday on the scroll too. I think I totally boned that. But it's every Thursday at 4 o'clock Eastern, 1 o'clock Pacific. Kelsey and I and our guy, Donnie Seymour, are live over there at Sportsbook Review. You can join us over there. Kelsey does a bunch of great articles and content at Sportsbook Review. And you can follow her over on Facebook, facebook.com/heavy on Falcons and heavy on my 49ers as well. So I think that is pretty fantastic. So we've got the Thursday Night Football game. Again, getting some house cleaning out of the way. If you want my player pool, projections, weekly rankings, wide receiver, cornerback matchups, articles, you can get all that. Draft dashboard, 30 days for $1. The link's in the video description below. Also, you'll see on the scroll, if you have trouble finding where you can find Kelsey, I put it on the scroll. Ignore the Tuesday. Focus on the Thursday. I always make one mistake. I'm a flawed man. There's a reason I'm the DFS Bachelor, not the DFS boyfriend, right? It's because I'm flawed. I am deeply flawed. So we're excited about that. And I think Kelsey's the only Falcons fan that I know. So this is going to be a great...
Everyone say that. Everyone says that to me.
How many Falcons fans do you know? Even being, the Georgia area, being a Falcons, how many do you actually know?
I mean, half of my family is from there, so I know quite a handful, but I feel like nobody really puts it on the internet like I do. So that's why everyone's like, you're the only one I know.
I think it's bold.
They feel the need to, tell me, oh, did you see that? No, I didn't see that. Obviously, I saw that. You don't need to DM me about it.
Yeah.
Not getting paid.
It's been a bad run for them. Ever since that collapse in the Super Bowl, it's like, oh man, this team cannot keep a lead. So when we look towards the game, for tomorrow, looks like a little bit of wind, a little bit of rain, possible warmer game. Anything that we should know, I don't know, injury-wise, Julio Jones probably going to play, right? Have you heard anything to the contrary? What do you think?
Yeah, Julio Jones says he feels good to go. He does have a hip injury. He was limited at practice this week, but he says he's good to go. And usually when Julio Jones says that, he means it. There was a time where he said, I'm not 100%, and he did not play that week. So he's not gonna lie about it. He's played through a lot of injuries, and he even played through his hamstring last week. He was getting stretched out on the sidelines, but the Falcons lost. They should. I keep forgetting that happened.
It's just crazy. It's crazy. I lost a bet on that. I actually bet on your Falcons. It's a team I cannot get right. Every time I bet on the Falcons, they lose, and every time I don't bet on them, they win. So I've gotten them wrong repeatedly this year, and I'm fine with it. I still like the offense a little bit. So just, we'll start at the quarterback position. When you look at Matt Ryan and Teddy Bridgewater, right? So the Carolina Panthers have actually had a pretty good secondary this year. They're 5th in the league against opposing quarterbacks. We saw this game, 2 weeks ago? It was a lower scoring game than any of us expected. 23-16, I believe, was the score. Any reason to believe the Falcons' passing game is going to be more prolific in this game? We know Carolina plays a lot of zone, so those big plays over the top probably aren't going to be there for Atlanta. And then on the other side, you got Teddy Bridgewater against the Falcons team, who has allowed the most fantasy points to opposing quarterbacks. Give me some optimism for Matt Ryan in the contrarian play.
Well, our defense is getting better week by week, so we can only hope that it continues on that slope. Now, we have Marlon Davidson back on the defensive line. And then as far as our offensive line, we're fairly healthy. I think our right tackle is injured, but that hasn't been one of our problems. It's really like not offense, defense.
Sure. No, I think that's great. See, that's why we have the insiders on, folks. Because I don't even know who that guy is. Look at that.
I'm saying I'm pretty. It's our right tackle or left tackle, one of them. But still, like, that's not our problem. Our problem is on defense. But either way, Mike Davis is not as good as Christian McCaffrey, and we can stop him. We did see it in the first game we played then, and we've seen it through Carolina's schedule that he can be stopped. Like, they're not that good. I don't know why the Falcons think they can blow it. I don't know.
It's a mental block. It's a mental block. I mean, you always think you can blow it, and there's jokes for that. But but no, seriously. So, will your dog play tomorrow? Is your dog going to be playing for the Carolina Panthers tomorrow? Because if some of you don't know, I don't know how the hell a Falcons fan has there's McCaffrey right there. What a sweep! Yeah, look at that. And so, do you want to explain to people why you're an Atlanta Falcons fan, but your dog is named after a Carolina Panthers running back?
So I'm a Notre Dame fan. McCaffrey played at Stanford. I think it was 2016 where Stanford knocked them out of the playoffs. And that's when Christian McCaffrey really came to light in my eyes, at least. Many followers of Stanford probably saw him earlier. And I started, I don't want to say obsessing, but I was like, he's such a good athlete, running back. Like, that's crazy for a guy like him. And he plays the harmonica, and that's kind of where I was like, that's my guy. An athlete that plays the harmonica and the piano. And I'm like, I hope he never sees this. But I got McCaffrey when I got back from my internship in LA, and I kind of named him out of spite because my friend was getting a dog and wanted to name hers McCaffrey, and I was like, no, I'm doing it first.
Oh, nice. Well, I like the name.
I think it's elegant, and then my brother grew up an Ed McCaffrey fan, so it's not just like, oh, Christian. Well, might be just be Christian this, but sure. I think it fits him, and he's a ball player, so yeah. I mean,
I got love for Ed McCaffrey. I'm a 49er fan. I watched him when he played for the Broncos, and he spent a little bit of time there with the 49ers. So I got love for Ed McCaffrey. And Christian McCaffrey's a beast. If he does play tomorrow, I don't think he plays much, right? It's probably in a limited role. So I think you're probably safe with Mike Davis. Just for you DFS guys, I do prefer Teddy Bridgewater. The Falcons secondary can't stop anyone. Kendall Sheffield, Isaiah Oliver, even A.J. Terrell, I know he's sort of.
Yeah, but if they can stick to turnovers, and that's what Raheem Morris has been stressing. I know people do not like Morris, but I do believe in him. It's the Falcons. Like Todd Gurley did that to himself last week.
Yeah, we should talk running backs. Let's talk running backs. Let's talk Todd Gurley.
Morris called the play. Instead of kneeling, he said, hand off the ball to Gurley. So I know it comes down to coaches, but I don't.
Oh, Gurley tried to stop himself. You could see he knew he was supposed to stop, and he's like, oh, shit. And then he kind of fell forward. And listen, I'm getting old. That happens to me all the time. So,
especially when how do you stop when you're that fast?
Exactly. And let's not forget, we've seen disastrous missed kicks by kickers. And I know Young Ho Koo, he's my fantasy football kicker. I love Koo. I think Koo is Koo. To talk like I could do my Cartman voice, but that's reserved for my dog. That's my dog's voice. I talk for my dog. I've got issues, right? But you're behind in a football game. There's a minute left. I don't think you made a mistake. scoring the touchdown. If your defense can't stop Matthew Stafford in that offense in a minute with, one timeout, I don't think that's Todd Gurley's fault, but I do think he comes out motivated. And the Carolina Panthers allow the fourth most fantasy points to opposing running backs in the league. So should we expect a big game from Todd Gurley tomorrow?
Yes, absolutely.
I love that. Factual, to the point.
I talk to his trainer like once a week, and I know his trainer's probably the most motivating guy out there. Coach Jay, he doesn't give away his real first name, Agaboa. But Todd Gurley's just a real – he doesn't drink. He's focused. He might drink in the offseason, but in the in-season he's just focused. And when he messes up, like he took that blame in the press, he's ready to go. It's kind of like how Aaron Donald came out on Monday night and was like, all right, I didn't get any sacks last week. I'm coming back this week, and, the Rams killed.
I think Todd Gurley's the MVP candidate. For those of you who don't know, on DraftKings, you pay 1.5 times the salary, but you also get 1.5 times the points. 72% of the time, a running back or a wide receiver is in the winning lineup in that captain spot. I love Todd Gurley this week, and how about that? Words from the trainer. Where else do you get that? Miss Kelsey, the first lady of football over at SBR, is giving us the inside track, and I absolutely love that because I think Todd Gurley's a great play tomorrow. I actually don't mind Mike Davis either. I do think he goes a little bit lower owned. In that first game against Atlanta, he put up 30 DraftKings points 2 weeks ago. So I think a lot of people are going to be worried about McCaffrey. Mike Davis is interesting. I think this is a game with the rain, etc. I'm not sure the passing games are that prolific. I like the running game in this game for both teams tomorrow.
The Falcons have won 3 out of 4 times against them on the road. And 2 straight.
Wow.
So
that's important information if you're trying to go because everyone's going to be on Carolina tomorrow. Let's just get that straight. So going contrarian, especially in DraftKings and loading up on the Falcons, listen, it may not work out, but if you're looking to set yourself apart from the rest of the field and try to win a tournament, I think that's a great way to go. One other running back I'm interested in this game is Brian Hill. I like him. On a short week, we know Todd Gurley's got the knee things that have been going on for years, and even though I do think Gurley plays great, it looks like the change of pace back is Brian Hill, right? I know Ito Smith sort of gets in there as well. What do we think about Brian Hill? Will we see some short passes to him, some carries from Brian Hill? He's 2,200 on DraftKings.
Right, yeah, and I think he has trusting hands. Like, when he has the ball, he's taken to the house. Like, trusting hands, trusting legs.
I mean,
you know what I mean, though? Like,
Let me get my pen. On my bucket list, I want to write down, I want a woman to say I have trusting hands and trusting legs.
There's those running backs where it's like, they just let the ball slip or they don't.
Right.
Right.
It is Brian Hill over Ito Smith, right, in terms of pecking order in the Atlanta backfield. So Brian Hill at 2,200 I think is a nice, interesting contrarian play at running back as well. Okay, let's go to the wide receivers. Let's talk about wide receivers, right? So we talked about Julio Jones. Looks like he's going to play. I'd be surprised if he didn't. What about Russell Gage? Have we heard anything about Russell Gage? I know he's been limited.
He's limited in practice, but he's going to be okay. He didn't.
Okay. And that's good because for me, when you look at Carolina, they play a lot of zone coverage, cover 3. They play zone 76% of their defensive snaps. So I think the Falcons have to be patient on offense. You're not going to get these giant plays over the top, in terms of what the data tells us. So a guy like Russell Gage over the middle is an interesting guy. And what about Olamide Zaccheaus? Is he going to continue to be more and more? Did I even say his name right? I don't even know.
I can't say it to save my life. It's like Tua Tagovailoa. Violina.
Yeah. Tua Tagovailoa. I got that. I've been practicing all week, the Tua Tagovailoa. Don't worry. I've been practicing that one. I think it's Olamide Zaccheaus. But he's like 1,000 on DraftKings. So we always like to look at these contrarian plays, right? Like, who's the Falcon that, like, hey, maybe he hasn't done a bunch, but maybe he's part of the game, like, who's the other receiver there for the Falcons? Let me go find his name. Way down there. No. Not Zaccheaus, but the other guy. Like the number 5 wide receiver who once in a while gets a catch. I'm going to find his name here, and it'll ring a bell.
No.
It's not Olamide. It is. Christian Blake. Should we see anything
Oh,
from Christian Blake?
okay.
I
Yeah.
like Christian Blake. Sometimes he makes plays.
He did well, like I think earlier in the season. He
Yeah.
stepped in, and he wasn't terrible. I mean, we lost, but the whole team
Yeah,
lost.
I mean that's all the Falcons do is lose, especially when they're ahead, right? What
We
would you
fight-
prefer? What would you prefer, the Falcons to have the lead in the fourth quarter or be playing from behind in the fourth quarter? What do you prefer as a Falcons fan?
Definitely behind at this point.
I just tricked you into saying that,
Because
basically.
if we lose, like it's going because I feel like other teams just lose and no one really pays attention to it, but we lose in like the worst way. So it's like when we lose, everyone is like, "Oh, this is how that happened."
Right. So
So-
I like Calvin Ridley quite a bit too. He had a huge game against Carolina the last game.
Player.
Calvin Ridley, favorite player? Yeah, I like him a lot tomorrow. I think that's where you see the matchup because Carolina, assuming Rasul Douglas is not on the COVID-19 list for tomorrow's game, he's a really good shadow coverage corner. And again, they don't do a lot of shadow coverage because they play zone, but he'll be over Julio Jones, a bigger receiver. He's really shut down a lot of the top receivers this year. Then you look, Calvin Ridley on the other side. He had a huge game in week 5 against this team. Let me pull up his stats here. He put up a 25, and in fact, his last 3 games against Carolina, 31, 19, and 25 DraftKings points. Julio Jones is at 15, 12, and then a 0. He was hurt. There was a time back in the day where Julio Jones dominated Carolina. Remember that 331-yard receiving day years ago? But I like, if you're picking a Falcons receiver, I like Calvin Ridley. But wait, sorry, did I cut you off?
I said, "Was I born yet?" I'm just kidding.
I like to pretend that you were just for legal reasons, but that's just my own jokes here. The fans of the show will get it. Don't worry, trust me, they will get that. But looking on the other side, you gotta like Robbie Anderson, DJ Moore, and even Curtis Samuel out of the slot. Atlanta's secondary can't cover anybody, and Robbie Anderson, 23 in week 5. When you look at DJ Moore, he put up a pretty decent game of 19, and even Curtis Samuel at 5,400. He's going to see a lot of Isaiah Oliver, who kind of got demoted to that slot spot, and he's been their third down guy. So I think all 3 wide receivers for Carolina are in play. But if you're looking at value, I do think that Christian Blake and Zacchaeus, most of all, at 1,000, can be one of those sneak. If Julio Jones leaves with an injury, the guy who replaces him is Olamide Zacchaeus, right? That was a yes, right? Alameda Zacchaeus replaces Julio Jones?
I'm sorry. Yes.
Yes. So what? Well, I just take that as a yes.
No. I'm sorry. I got a text. But what's Hayden Hurst at?
Hayden Hurst, we're going to go to tight ends right now, and I cannot wait to do it. He's at 6,400 on DraftKings, and I actually like Hayden Hurst quite a bit. Now, Carolina's been 10th against opposing tight ends, and he did only have a 3 in that Week 5 game. But I do think if the rain is coming down and Carolina's taking away the big play over the middle against those safeties and linebackers, Hayden Hurst, he's really stepped up over the last 3 weeks. What he's been targeted 17 times over the last 3 weeks, double-digit fantasy points each of the last 2 weeks. Give me the Hayden Hurst breakdown from the Atlanta Falcons insider.
We've seen it. He's not throwing the ball enough. That's what it really comes down to. But I think this week, Julio Jones, the Panthers are going to be on top of Julio Jones, especially what they've seen from the Vikings and then last week. But I don't know. Why is he only at
6'4"? It's pretty cheap. It fit in my lineup right now. I have him in quite a few lineups. Just DraftKings, when you look at the DraftKings scoring, they're putting a big premium on the running backs, the wide receivers, and the quarterbacks this week. So I think he's going to be a lower owned guy with big upside, right? He plays 73% of the snaps.
Yeah, right, exactly. And Julio Jones is going to be the one that's targeted the most, but leaving Hayden Hurst there. But Matt Ryan still does. I don't know why they don't. No one's asked him that question. Why don't you throw to Hayden Hurst more? Because he's open.
It's a bit confusing, right? Because he threw to Austin Hooper every play last year. So I don't understand why Hayden Hurst hasn't been more involved.
Hurst more than Hooper now.
Yeah, yeah. Hayden Hurst. I think Hayden Hurst is a sneaky captain spot play tomorrow. It wouldn't shock me if he scores 2 touchdowns tomorrow. That's my bold prediction. Hayden Hurst gets in the end zone at least once, twice would not shock me. What do you think?
Twice is pushing it.
I'm gonna put a plus 6,000 bet on my bookie. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it.
Let's roll with it.
I'm gonna do it.
We're gonna pray tonight, and Vegas gods are gonna hear us, and it's gonna happen.
That's it. We need the fantasy gods to smile upon us. I mean, what's wrong with that? So we got to talk about kickers since it's DraftKings. Unfortunately, on DraftKings and Fanduel, kickers are part of the process, and I fucking hate kickers.
I'm done. The Cardinals Seahawks game? That game it could have been over so much sooner. I actually have a video cheering for when I thought Zane made the kick, and I was cheering, I think, in the stands, and then I was like, oh shoot, he didn't make it's like, what, you have one job. I know, okay, it's probably hard, but it's still, you have one job. You're not.
Yeah, you kick a football. Cody Parkey cost me a $5,500 parlay. I hit 7 out of 8. The only one I didn't win was that piece of shit kicker from the Browns missing an extra point with 5 seconds left in the game. My anger is high with kickers this year. High.
Don't they go home, and if they miss that winning kick, don't they go home and just want to die? That's dark.
I mean, I kind of want them to. I'm not going to lie. I kind of want them to. No, I'm just kidding. I never root for anybody to die. I should preface that because some people take that so seriously. I don't want anybody to die. I mean, I'm sure there's someone out there that the world would be better off without, but it's not up for me to decide. I am not the almighty. But both kickers are in play in terms of DFS. Both kickers are in play. And just touching on the tight ends, if you're desperate to play a Carolina Panthers tight end, it's Ian Thomas. He plays like 2/3 of the snaps. They never throw him the football. He's 2,600, so have fun with that. I won't be doing that. I'll play Brian Hill over Ian Thomas, but I just wanted to touch on that for the DFS players. But I like both kickers because I could see both teams struggling in the red zone, especially in the rain. So you're probably going to see Sly and my guy, Young Hoku. I love probably the only kicker I actually love in the NFL is Young Hoku. He's my fantasy football kicker on both teams.
I got rid of him because when he was hurt, and I like my kicker now. I think it's I'm waiting. I forget who it is, but I like him.
That's good. You could tell you like him a ton, obviously.
Wait, no. My whole fantasy team was like the Falcons, and then I had to redo some things because bye weeks, and then it's like, Kelsey, what are you doing? Yeah. You have to switch up some.
I feel that's probably my love life where women are like, yeah, I liked him. What the hell was his name again? Not overly cool, sort of cool.
Okay. I have Bullock.
Oh, yeah. Randy Bullock for the Bengals. The Bengals offense is humming, and when you have a rookie quarterback, they could be inefficient in the red zone, so it's a good kicker.
But Koo is definitely one of the most accurate kickers.
Yeah, Koo is Koo. Koo is Koo. Bottom line, I love Young Hoku. He's my dude. He's my kicker in both leagues. I love Young Hoku. And then obviously the defenses. If I'm going to play a defense, it's going to be Carolina. I'm sorry. There's absolutely no way in hell I would play the Atlanta Falcons defense.
You would be surprised, though. You would be surprised. We could come out and that's any team, but I feel like the Falcons. Morris was able to turn around the Falcons last year. And after this embarrassing the Super Bowl was embarrassing, but I feel like this past weekend was maybe even more embarrassing. Even more embarrassing than the onside kick in Dallas as well? Okay, you're right. Maybe. Because we could have won. Well, we could have won then, too.
It's all bad. It's just all bad. I can't trust that Falcons defense. I know. I'm sorry. I can't do it. I cannot do it.
Too much faith. I need to chill out.
But in fairness, if you're playing these defenses, and I saw the thing, there was the big headline on ESPN too. The guy lost $1 million because of a stat correction on DraftKings. He played both defenses, so that's what you get for being a douchebag and playing both defenses on DraftKings. Anyone who does that, you don't fucking deserve to win. You deserve to lose. I'm happy that guy lost. I don't give a shit. I don't care how many people are mad at me. Thumbs down me if you want. Have fun with it. You play 2 defenses on DraftKings. You're just being a douche and hoping for a miracle, so he deserved to lose. Neither one of these defenses do you want to play tomorrow. If I'm going to play one, it's Carolina. The Falcons are one of the worst defenses in the league.
Okay. Alrighty.
No? Yes? Are the Falcons not one of the worst defenses
They're
in the
not
league?
the Giants and the Jets, so we're okay.
Or the Cowboys. So the 5 worst defenses, right? The Cowboys, the Falcons got to be up there. They have to be. They can't cover anyone. Kendall Sheffield giving up 3/4 of a point.
That's not terrible. It's terrible, but it's not horrendous.
Right. And I understand. We have a little bit of time here. So we've covered everything DFS-wise. Again, if you want my player pool and stuff, click the link in the video description below. Don't forget to follow Kelsey on Twitter. But I understand you have a Cowboys fan around there, and I like to talk shit about Mike McCarthy. Does she want to get in here and tell me how shitty the Cowboys are? Because I love to do that.
Great. Just a quick... She's saying no.
She's saying no, but just scream it from the back. Say...
Just throw it in there. You were doing it earlier. She was doing it earlier. Now
she did a great job before the show telling me how much Mike McCarthy sucked. So I was gonna.
Now she's gonna lose her job.
Oh no! Okay, yeah, we don't want her to lose her job. So let's just say we have a smart Cowboys mind who knows Mike McCarthy sucks. But seriously, Kelsey, thank you so much. Is there anything else that you wanted to say before we get the hell out of here?
Did I miss something in the script? I'm just kidding.
No. I just didn't know. Is there anywhere else we could find you?
No. I'm not taking the Falcons this week. I'm taking the over. So
taking the over, and who do you think wins, Carolina or Atlanta? What do you like?
I'm taking the over. I've won a good game, and I don't really know what's going to happen.
Okay.
Because I don't know what's going to happen with Falcons. I'm kind of, as a fan, I'm stressed out. If I wasn't a fan, I'd probably be taking Carolina. But everyone's going to be taking Carolina, so you know what that means. Falcons are going to win. Let's go.
That's right. That means the contrarian play. And when the contrarian play wins this week, you guys can come thank me for having our Falcons insider, the first lady of SBR football, and one of my favorite people in the world. I've had the great pleasure of getting to know her, and I'm super, super grateful that you came on the show. This is probably the most fun I've had on a show in a long time. I don't get to have fun like this and, just talk sports and, just have a little bit of fun. So thank you so much. And again, Kelsey, every Thursday, 4 o'clock Eastern, 1 Pacific, Donnie, Kelsey, and I, we give our pick sixes, our best predictions, bets, and plays.
We make fun of Kyle.
Make fun of me. I'm easy to make fun of. It's not hard to do at my, excessive age and, my regressing looks and brain power. It all happens very quickly. And we have a lot of fun over there. And don't forget to follow on Twitter. You can see it right here on the show right there at KK Rams. K Crams. Let's call K. I don't want to say oh boy.
K Crames.
K Crames. K Crames. You can see it right there. I have it underneath your picture. You'll see it once it's up. You can see it there. Follow her on Facebook, facebook.com/Heavy on Falcons, and facebook.com/Heavy on 49ers as well. Did I get that right?
Yeah,
I got that right. Look at that. Look at the memory power on us. Thank you so much again. May the fantasy gods be with you all. Contrarian play Falcons. Smart homer type play Panthers. That's the advice we gave you. I hope you all have a great Thursday night. We'll see you for our final look, where our other co-host, Donnie Seymour, will be on the show on Saturday, and we do our final look as well. Thank you all again so much for watching. Goodbye, folks.